Fellow Toastmasters and guests, the annual Toastmasters District 78 Communications and Leadership Award is intended to honor a non-Toastmaster who has made substantial contributions to the well-being of a local community in the areas of communication and leadership. After due diligence and consideration, the award selection committee has selected Susan Purvis of Whitefish, Montana, as this year's recipient. Susan saves lives and teaches others to do the same. She's an award-winning author and speaker, as well as a wilderness medicine and avalanche educator. Often called a maverick, Susan has paved a not-so-easy, yet successful career in the male-dominated outdoors arena. She has shuffled between outdoor business owner, gold exploration geologist, and canine search and rescue dog handler. She's used her talents as a wilderness medicine specialist to work in the coldest, hottest, and highest places on Earth. Her outdoors education company, Crested Butte Outdoors International, captured the attention of the Oprah Show, U.S. Secret Service, FBI, and the Navy SEALs. Her exploits put her in the Smithsonian, Wall Street Journal, and New York Times publications, as well as on CNN. She has appeared in the science documentary, The Hottest Place on Earth, on the BBC and Discovery channels. In 2013, she embarked on an epic 45-day expedition to Queen Maud Land in Antarctica. She's consulted for the National Geographic Channel and True TV. Her best-selling adventure memoir, Go Find: My Journey to Find the Lost and Myself, can be found in bookstores and online on book-selling sites. Susan Purvis takes communications and leadership to the extreme, to a global view. She introduces her audience's readers, friends, and associates to places and experiences most of us can only dream about. Please welcome Susan Purvis as she accepts the 2022 Toastmasters District 78 Communications and Leadership Award. That's cool.
That is so beautiful.
Speak. The stage is yours.
I want everyone to take a deep breath. Either soften or close your eyes. Bring to mind a leader that inspires you. Someone you'd follow anywhere. I'll give you a minute. Picture what he or she looks like. Strong hands, broad shoulders, thick neck, or petite with long flowing hair. Are they strong, happy, confident? Were they open to leading and listening? How'd they make you feel? What does it feel like to be led by a confident, commanding warrior? What are the stories they tell you? And do you want to emulate them? Go ahead, open your eyes. The leader I picked had a temperament of an NFL linebacker, the short hair of a black seal, the face of a baby bear, and the drive and determination of a Mount Everest climber. And her name was Tasha. And I wrote a book about our adventures together. What, you must be asking? Yes, it's true. Tasha, my naughty but lovable black Labrador, is the center of this story. And before Tasha, and in my early 30s, I lived in the shadows of my dominant husband in the Dominican Republic, where I worked as a gold exploration geologist with him. He was the boss at work, at home. He ran our finances and our agenda. I was a follower back then. And I'm 50% responsible for that. And maybe I wanted to follow. I had something to learn. But prior to that, in my mid to late 20s, I was a leader. I led in my own life, in my career as a survival instructor, a gold exploration geologist, and a traveler. I had my own money and my own agenda. So it is possible then that when we travel through life, we move in and out of being leaders and followers. And in reflection, as I accept this Toastmasters award, thank you by the way, I want to share with you how I spent a career based on building leaders. And I had to do it with this cute little black Tasha and a promise I made to herself and to me. And she was 5 weeks old. I've spent my career in unconventional settings, in changing and hazardous environments with limited resources. We call that the wilderness. I teach and live by general principles and common sense, where rules and books and checklists and procedures might fall away. It's a scary place to work and thrive, but the rewards are greater than the risks. So, I've had the opportunity to work in all these amazing places. And where did I get my training and confidence? From my little black lab, Tasha. You see, I was in a bad place in my life, and I needed a change. And you'd think, how could this young girl from northern Michigan, who is destined to boat around in curlers like her mother and stay at home and raise children, become this outdoor adventurer and explorer and train people to save lives? My mom had different ideas for me. I think she wanted me to be a cheerleader and cheer for men's football games, I think. But I got my break a little later than this. But one thing I knew when I was young is I didn't want my mother's life. I didn't want to raise children, and I didn't want to stay at home, and I didn't want to be a secretary. And back in the early 80s, women's options were not that great. And all I knew is I wanted to travel. Traveling and being in the outdoors was going to be my teacher. I got my break canoeing in flannel shirts and blue jeans on Lake Superior, and later I learned how to backpack in Montana, and I spent a month tripping when I was 15 years old learning how to backpack. And that's where I learned to grow up. I couldn't rely on my mother to take care of me, and I had to put my big girl pants on. From there, when I went to college at the University of Montana, I got a geology degree, and I decided, wow, I have some skill. I'm gonna get on my bike and bike to Alaska. And I was gonna do it by myself. And my mom's like, oh, no, you're not. So I brought a guide just for safety. So what do I know about leading? We learn in little bits, right? We start little, and then we have a little bit more confidence and a little more confidence. Really right out of college, I didn't go to work as a geologist right away, but I went to work as a survival instructor in the desert. And I thought, if I can learn to live off the land for 21 days with a bunch of teenagers, I can do anything. I can make traps, find game, and that's what really launched me into becoming a leader, because now I had to lead people who didn't have as much skill set as myself. Later on, I became a geologist, worked in the Dominican Republic, but something was missing in my life. I didn't care about finding gold, and I was subordinate under my husband's reign. And I knew something had to change. gnarliest ski resort in Colorado and saved lives, and it was Crested Butte, Colorado. And it was there that I learned 3 toddlers were standing outside this condominium on a Sunday morning, waiting for a shuttle bus to bring them back to Dallas, Texas, when that whole hillside slid and buried all 3 of them. Snow came through the doors. And when the ski patrollers told me in that moment that their avalanche dog train failed to find the toddlers, I thought, what if I got a dog to train a life, or to save a life? And I vowed at that moment to never leave anyone behind. So that was my promise I made to her and to myself. So that sent me on a journey of new territory. I knew nothing about training a dog. I knew nothing about moving or traversing or being a traverser through the mountains of Colorado. And now I became a follower. Again, I had to find mentors. So one day I can go out and save lives. So in life, we go through being a leader, and sometimes we have to be a follower. And we do this maybe all day, every day, in our jobs, in our homes, in our recreation. And there's some beauty to being both a leader and a follower. How is it then I could lead a dog that I can't even communicate with? She can't talk to me, we don't speak the same language. My agenda was, dog, we're saving a life, and guess what her agenda was? Oh, no, we're not. I'm gonna go find the biggest pile of poo and eat it. I am gonna go tear through somebody's garbage and eat that garbage. And in my struggle to dominate and to lead, she rebelled against me. So we had to work out. So I had maybe 3 years of ups and downs of, 1 step forward, 3 steps back with training a dog. Again, when we become leaders, we have to know when to fall, and we have to get right back up and do it again. So how is it then I took this 5.5-week-old puppy I had no knowledge of saving lives in the backcountry, in wilderness medicine, anything, and I had to learn it. So I was mentored along the way in medicine, ski patrolling, search and rescue. And I went from this puppy to 10 years later working the gnarliest mission of our lives. And I had 1 hour to do it. And at the end of the day, we became probably one of the top most successful search and rescue dogs in the nation, in the environment we were working in. And everybody all of a sudden leaned on me and called me to be the leader to run these missions. And it happens through baby step, baby step, baby step. I was so, okay. So I'm gonna wrap this up here. So in the end, I save lives and teach others to do the same. And my dog Tasha gave me the confidence and competence to do it. She made me be able to stand up in front of a sheriff's department or a grieving family and say, you know what, we can do this work, and we're gonna find closure for your family. She gave me the belief that I needed that I didn't have in myself. Over the years, I started my own company, Crested Butte Outdoors, where I train people in wilderness medicine or avalanche education. And really what I'm doing is giving them the confidence and competence. I'm helping them find their voice, become incident commanders, lead in moments of chaos. I'm really teaching them to take responsibility for themselves because you have to be your own rescuer. I've taught thousands of people around the world on all 7 continents how to rise to the challenge, take charge, look at the big picture, delegate tasks, and remind them that they need to save themselves before they can save anyone else. So that's how I became a leader. I challenge you all today or tomorrow, in your own special way, to ask yourself this question: How will I serve your community as a leader?